Welcome to today's Bells Up Studio Strength Set. As always, I want you guys to check the description section of this class to make sure that you are clear on the movements we're about to get up to and you have the appropriate equipment. This is a class that you will definitely need kettlebells for because we're doing single arm swings. You're going to be doing up to 10 of those, so make sure it's a weight that you feel really comfortable doing 10 per side. You also have some pause squats, and I'm going to give you a little flexibility on what you hold for squats. Most of us will probably do double racked. Some of you might choose to do goblet. If you have a barbell and you have access to that and you can perform it in a circuit, we can also welcome you using that too. So just pay attention to that description section. We're going to go through a warm-up where you will need a light to moderate kettlebell today for it. We're going to go through this one time, and then we're going to do sort of a follow the leader set where we're going to keep practicing some of our ballistic movements, and we're going to get a little warm-up, an extra little sprinkle of warm-up with some split squats. So let's go ahead and get ready to move through our program. We're going to start out with a beast to bear. We're going to do this one for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to go into a plank with down dog pushbacks for that. So we'll take just about a minute total for this. I'll tell you when you should switch to the plank to down dog pushback. So beast to bear, we're going to come into a quadruped position with our shoulders rested over the wrists, knees under the hips. You're going to lift your knees a few inches from the ground, turn the pits of your elbows forward, and then push yourself back without moving your knees up or down. So I'm trying to go fully back here, and I'm also trying to pay attention to facing my toes forward and going into the soles of my feet evenly. Imagine your biceps are going to meet the inner part of your arm. So it's a little bit like bicep to, I guess you would say, ear, or almost really kind of the side of the muscle right here to the ear. We want to try to facilitate this forward motion to really feel our lats kind of move down our back and be able to get some nice opening in our back. After your next beast to bear shift back of the hips, you're going to switch to those down dogs. So I'm going to have you walk your feet out more to a wide stance plank, shift your hips back. You can bend your knees here as much as you need to, and then you'll roll forward to your plank. Again, try to think of pushing through the entire sole of your foot. Sometimes I like to roll to the outsides of my feet here and get a little uneven. I'm really trying to ground down through the sole of my foot and keep a connection to my core, so I'm not just popping my chest out here. Keep breathing through this one. Push yourself back again. Bend your knees as much as you need to. This is a warm-up. You're going to be in this just about 15 more seconds, and then we're going to lay on our back and take some open and close the book each side of our body. You're going to have your knees facing to one side, your arms out to a T shape. Let's go ahead and meet there in 3, 2, and 1. So go ahead, lay on your back. Arms come out to a T shape here. Let's take our knees to the left actually this time. And then you're going to take your right hand, try to clap onto your left hand. Leave your hips where they are. So we're getting some movement through our upper back, through our T-spine. Some of you might have some luck moving your arm around your head here and getting a little more rotation. Just don't hit your kettlebells like I have here. If this kind of sweeping motion feels good to you, you can take that. I certainly feel like that one is nice, especially if you're a little tight up in your traps, these muscles that are right at the base of your neck, kind of on the sides of your neck. So that kind of sweeping around of your arm might feel really good. Let's go ahead, switch your side. So bring your knees to your right side now. We're going to take the hand, clap the opposite one. So right now my left hand is moving towards my right, or I can kind of sweep it above my head and do the same thing. I'm always coming back to that T shape. And what I mean there is your arms should just be straight out to the sides in this position when you land on the floor. And then you should stack your shoulders when you actually give your hand a little clap. Really good if you sit at a desk all day to add these ones in, or if you just feel tight in your upper back. Okay, we're coming to our feet next. We're gonna take hip circles. So let's go really wide with our legs here. The feet can be wider than your shoulders, hands on hips. I want you to start by tucking your butt under just a little bit, or taking a big breath out through your nose and feeling your rib cage kind of push down. Hands go on the hips. We're gonna send our hips all the way to the right and then back as far as you can go. Knees can be locked out, all the way to the left, and then all the way forward without losing that pelvic tuck. So you can take it a little faster, but this isn't just like a little tiny, I don't know, hip shake dance move. I want you to actually think side, booty back all the way. Make the biggest circle you can without arching your back at all. So I'm still keeping my rib cage over my pelvis. Let's go ahead, switch your side. You can make these feel kind of big. You can make them a little bit smaller if you're tending to arch your back a little bit. And just play with your stance a little. If you feel feel like you're locking out your knees and you don't feel secure, move your feet in just a little bit more. These feel so good if you have tight hips. You might even get a little pop in your low back, which no one ever complains about because it feels amazing. You're gonna be here for another 3, 2, and 1. This next one, might not feel amazing for you. So if it doesn't, I'm gonna have you just take a regular pry squat. If you wanna add a bicep curl to this one, go ahead and do it. I like to add a little bicep curl. Might not get a little pump in your warm up here. So take your moderate weight kettlebell. You're gonna clean it, bring it to your chest. I want you to hold it just like this by the horns. Sit down into the lowest part of your squat where you kind of lose tension, and you can just feel your hips opening up here. Play with your weight distribution in your feet. You're gonna roll around side to side a little bit, roll around in your heels, maybe forward, and then you can start taking little bicep curls here if this feels good for you. If not, I want you just to hold this position. If you absolutely hate this one, I always give a slow goblet squat or a body weight squat as a modification here, because sometimes holding down here might feel excruciating, or you might be like this. If you're like this is not the point. You gotta be able to sit down into it. Part of it is possible if you hold a weight. Those of you that really are kind of in between, you could also go onto your wedges here, put your feet on those squat wedges and try to find this position here. And then eventually we'll remove the wedges. You're here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Next up, we have 10 hand-to-hand kettlebell swings. This is transferring the kettlebell in the air. It's just 10 total reps. I want you to do it at your own pace. If those are not for you, you're gonna give me some goblet cleans. So just picking the bell up and down. 10 hand-to-hand kettlebell swings. You can stay at this lighter weight, or you can go up 1 bell if you have access to it. Let's go ahead, hit those together. You have about 30 seconds to finish it. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Remember, the point of this transfer at the top is to find this little weightless spot with the bell. So our swing shouldn't feel like we're forcing it and making everything the same speed. It should be fast here, a little float, and then a little slower drop. So just think quick hips. After you finish your 10, I want you to set your bell down, shake your shoulders out a little bit, breathe in through your nose, take that breath and finish up your set. Next up, we're gonna go into that follow the leader set. You will need 2 matching kettlebells that you can swing clean for at least a rep. If you're a little more advanced, I invite you to go heavy here. We're gonna get started together, so get your equipment out and get ready to move. Leader sets are going to start out with a big, heavy double swing clean. The whole point of the swing clean today is to give you practice on racking 2 bells that you could possibly increase your squat weight with. So these might be your kind of scary bells. You're gonna get 2 rounds of this. So the first set could be your nice moderate set, and then your second set could be the set that gives you a little bit of sweat before you even try, because they might be bigger bells than you're used to, and that's okay. Quick caveat, I have different size bells today. Don't worry about it, but just know that I want you to have 2 of the same size if that works for you, or if you have access to it. If you don't, a little reminder that if you can lift 2 of different sizes, just make sure that you switch your grip on the second round. So remember, with our swing clean, bells are in front of us. We're trying to use an aggressive hip thrust to lift the weights, elbows pull back and close. So let's try this out with either your comfy weight, or you could start out with that weight that gives you a little bit of the scaries. Okay, so palms can either face slightly in or slightly out, hips go back. I'm gonna pull the bells towards me and really feel the lats. So I want my arms tight here. My grip is just a little bit loose so the bell can rotate around my wrist. Let's clean in 3, 2, and 1. Hold your weights here. We're gonna hold for 3, 2, 1. Weights drop down the body, elbows shoot back, hips go down with the bells. Shake your hands out. So this is just a little practice again on working some heavy cleans. Next up, you're gonna take your bigger bell and we're gonna try 2 dead stop cleans each side, left and right, with that bigger bell. I'm gonna bring the bell close to your right foot to start. Remember, dead stop clean. When we come down, we're gonna lift our chest just a little more to facilitate vertical motion of the bell, going straight up and down so it lands in our rack position. Let's start our first rep. Come down into position. Light grip here. Bell should be close with the handle facing vertically. Lift your chest a little bit. We're here in 3, 2, 1. Clean, hold in the rack. 3, 2, 1. Bell comes down to where it started. Let's do that again. Come into your clean position, chest up. 3, 2, 1. Okay, if your heels lift, hold it here. 3, 2, 1, bell comes down. Just step beside it with your opposite foot so we're ready to go to the left. Remember, we always want the ankle dissecting the handle and the bell close to the side of the body that we're working on. Let's lift the bell or come into position for your clean. We'll lift it up in 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1. Bell comes down outside the foot. Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. Push through the soles of your feet. Hold 3, 2, 1. Bell comes down. So your last thing, or you have 2 more things in this sequence actually. We're going to do some split squats. We're going to take 3 on one side and then do about a 30-second isometric hold. So we'll hold it at the bottom. You have the option to go body weight here or rack a kettlebell on the side of your front leg. I'm going to take the rack, and the way that is easiest to do this is to clean your bell and then come down to the floor, set yourself up in your split position. So we wanna make sure the knee is a little closer in than we would do in lunges. We're gonna keep our shoulders over our hips and try to move straight up and down. So we're not moving our back foot. We're thinking of pushing through our front foot here. And our body's kind of like the motion of an elevator. Straight up and down, not front to back. So go ahead, rack your bell, bring your right leg forward. So bell is racked on the right side, or you could do body weight. We're gonna hold partially down for that 30 seconds after our 3rd rep. Let's lift in 3, 2, and 1. So we're up for 3 reps. We're just kind of getting our bearings here. 2, push through the sole of your foot. 3. Now we're gonna hold down at the bottom. So here, I want you to think of stacking your hip and your shoulder on top of each other. Bend your back knee slightly, push down the front part of your foot in the front foot. So I want the sole of the foot pushing down. Try to lift your toes here and not grip very much. Maybe you could move down and put more pressure in your front foot, just an inch or so. Now pull your back knee slightly in towards your front heel. So you're kind of squaring off your hips here. We don't want to be out to the side like this. We don't want a straight leg. We don't want to be back here. Give me 3, 2, 1, fully stand, step forward, bell comes all the way down, hips go back. Shake out your hands just a little bit. We're gonna hit your other side because of course we have to do both sides. And then we will go through this 1 more round of everything. So let's go ahead, clean your bell on your left. 3, 2, 1, comes up into position. Let's go all the way down to the floor. Remember, this can be done with body weight. We're gonna tuck our pelvis, line ourselves up. Go ahead, hit your 3 reps in 3, 2, and 1. So I push to my front foot. I'm trying to lead with my weight in that front leg. After your 3rd, you're gonna come down and meet me in this bottom position. So I'm pulling my back knee in. I'm trying to look straight ahead. I'm trying to not let my chin stick out and feel tension in my neck. I should feel all of this in my legs. It's normal if you feel a little stretch in the front part of your hip flexor there. If you're here and you're like, oh shit, I can't do it with a weight, stand up, take another rep down, and then hold a little bit more. Give yourself a little break. Keep squeezing, pushing back. Let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, push up, step forward, hips go back, set your bell down. Okay, very nice. The next set, I'm gonna give you a chance to take 3 push presses or 3 snatches. I want this to feel kind of light or a weight that you feel really comfortable with. We're just gonna warm up our upper body a little. Snatches, you guys are on your own because if you're doing that, you should know how to do your snatches by now. So take that 3 each side, push presses. Let's go 1 dead stop clean right into the rack and then hit those push presses. Remember, we're going to bend at the knees, use our legs to lift the weight. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Pull it down to the rack today. So we're keeping our legs strong and locked out as we do that. Bell comes down, just like our dead clean, we're gonna step side to the bell, go into our next set. It's a full strong lockout at the top. I'm thinking of knuckles up to the ceiling and my arm along the line of my bicep, just like in those beast to bear. We'll set the bell down on the floor. So that was set 1. Snatches, you guys should probably be done because they go a little faster. We will go through set 2. I'm gonna give you a little less rest break here, but I'm gonna guide you through each rep set. This is the one where you're gonna take your big, scary clean and the heavier weight if you're able to do that today. So let's go ahead, try it out. Round 2 here. 2 big bells in front of you. Remember, you have to use your hips. Push your feet down. Exhale as your hips extend and you stand up. Come into position. Send your hips back. Maybe pull the bells towards you a little bit and turn your hands in. Elbows graze the side of our body. Our weight should be in our heels mostly. Push down the soles of your feet now. Clean in 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. We drop right down the body, elbows shoot back, bells in front of us, and stand. Let's go ahead, take your heavier bell and practice your dead stock clean. 2 reps here, vertical handle, palm faces in, grip is super light, hips come down. Let's go ahead, clean our bell on our right side. 3, 2, 1. Bell comes down to the floor. Let's do it again. Second clean in 3, 2, 1. Nice strong catch. Set it down. I'm gonna stay in this angle so you can see my elbows shooting back when we do the left side. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hold there. Bell comes down. Clean it again. 3, 2, 1. Remember, we're moving just a little bit faster through this second set. Shake it out. Let's go ahead and hit our bodyweight split squats or our kettlebell split squats. Difference between a split squat and a lunge, you're just a little more narrow in your stance again. This time we're biasing our quad, so we're keeping shoulders over our hips. We're not sending our hips back here. Let's go ahead, hit your first side. Bell is racked if you have it on the front leg side. 3 reps in 3, 2, and 1. So I elevate, push through the front foot. Elevate, push through the front foot. 1 more. Come down, hold. So this is a great option for you. If you see people doing split squats and elevating their back foot on a bench, and you're like, that's too much for me, the balance, I don't have the mobility, I feel it too much in the front of my hip flexor on the other side. You can go always to your foot back on the ground like I am doing here and get a lot out of this movement. Let's see if we can go down a little lower. Pull our knee in just a little bit on the back foot. Push the sole of our foot down, maybe bend our front knee a little more for 3, 2, stand up. Pull your front foot in, very good. Thank God it's the last time we're doing these, right? Okay, we'll get ready to go into our other side. So if you're cleaning your bell and racking it, it should be coming into your left. You should be getting to the ground now, moving your feet into position. Let's go ahead, square off our hips. We'll raise up in 3, 2, and 1. So we push, lower to the floor. We want to try to touch the knee gently. See if we can go full range of motion here, all the way down. Let's stand, come down into that 30-second hold. This is warming you up for the squats that are coming at you in just a second here. Pull your knee in just a little bit more, hover that back knee off the floor. Push back your back toes if that feels good for you. You can also sometimes do this one on a wedge. If you feel like you kind of end up in this position, you can lift the heel here so you can really push into that front side. You could even try it without the wedge and see if that helps keep your chest up just a little bit more. You're gonna be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, stand up, come through, bell goes to the floor if you have it. Very good, shake those legs out. We're not taking too much rest. This is your chance to go maybe a little heavier in your push press, maybe 1 bell up in your snatch. Again, we're working on pop. We're working on power. We're gonna be strict pressing a bit today, so we're getting a little of this overhead work before we get into that. So let's go ahead, get ready to clean our first bell for our push press or set it up for our snatches. Let's go together in 3, 2, and 1. So snatches, again, you guys are gonna have a little more time to chill. That's all good. You guys can switch between sides, set up your next 3 snatches. Also a good time if you're snatching to practice maybe a tiny hold at the top before dropping into your next rep set. Push presses, try to stay even. Get that bell overhead smoothly. Bell comes to the floor smoothly. Remember, we're never dropping our weights. Whew, okay, we did it. We should feel nice and warm. Believe it or not, there's still more in your session coming up. So we're gonna get into your changing interval sets today. I'm gonna give you rep count recommendations, but you're gonna have sort of like in every minute on the minute style, but your first interval, you actually get 90 seconds. So it's not a true EMOM, but similar format. So you will need 2 bells that you can squat at least 10 reps. Think about that if you're using alternate equipment like a barbell or you want to do goblet squats. So 10 reps, I'll tell you what we're doing when we get to that part. Your single arm swing weight bell that you feel confident doing 10 reps in 1 minute on each side. Might not be your heaviest bell. I'm going for full power today, so something you can really pop. And then a bell that you can strict press 3 times, but we're gonna do a slow pull to the rack each time. So something that feels good for you there. So go ahead, get your equipment out, and we're gonna get started in our intervals very shortly. Okay, so you guys know what's coming for this strength set. I just haven't told you the timing for it. So your first set, you're getting 90 seconds. You're gonna do 5 pause squats with a 3-second hold. So that means whatever form of squat you're taking, I want you to hold 3, 2, 1, and then come up with power. After that, I want you to hit as many squats up to 5 that you can do really well. So if it's only 2 for you, great. If you can bang out another 5 at normal speed, I'd like you to try to aim for that. So it'd be 10 reps total with 5 of them at that pause tempo. After we finish that, so you'll get 90 seconds to do that, whatever you have left to rest, you'll hit your swings. You have 60 seconds for that. So you should get close to 40 seconds for some of you, maybe, actually I lied. You're only gonna get about 20 to 30 seconds for some of you for a rest break there. So you're gonna get a little less rest before you move on to your strict presses, which you also get a 60-second time frame for. 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, up to 5 on the down. If you wanna go heavy, like press for 1 to 2 reps, maybe take that 5 seconds, but we're doing both sides today. So I want you to get those 6 total reps in with that 3, 2, 1. So just manage your rest the first round of 5 and see how you feel. Try to go kind of heavy for these squats, but keep in mind, I want you to at least be able to do 10 with the bells that you're gonna rack today. Okay, so let's go ahead, get our weights out. We're gonna start this one in just about 20 seconds. And as always, the way that you customize this for the level that you're at, the weights that you have, and the equipment that you're using is to just take those rep ranges and either shave a few off. You shouldn't need to add today, but shave a few off if you need to, just based on the weights you're going for. Overall, we should feel like we're in this RPE 8, maybe getting up to a 9 for some of it today. Okay, here we go. Clock is on. 3, 2, and 1. So I'll clean my bells or bell, come into my 3, 2, 1 pause, push, stand up. 3, 2, 1 pause, push, stand up. Again, 3, 2, 1 pause, push, stand up. This is where I would hit maybe those 5 extra reps. Elbows can come up. I don't want your bells out here. Make sure that you're not rolling forward wherever you're at in this one. Hitting those 5 strong reps. It should start feeling pretty challenging by the time you get to reps 4 or 5. So for context here, that took me in total about 40 seconds. So this for you could be a true 1-to-1 work-rest ratio because you do get a full 90 seconds to complete this. So we still have about 30 seconds rest until we get into our next set. The next set is your 10 single arm swings. I do recommend here, if you don't feel like you're getting enough rest and you attempted 10, shave off a few reps. I don't want you to go below 6 today each side if you can help it. If you're a beginner or little past a beginner doing this class, make sure that you always know 2-hand swings are an option for you. You could take 10 2-hand swings instead of the single arm swings and still get a really great power set here. Okay, clock is on for your set. 3, 2, and 1. So big pop of the hips. I want you to try to find that weightless point like we did in the beginning of our set today. I want you to mind your opposite hand. Really think as you go back, you're reaching. So there isn't like this lazy kind of hand. You actually have to think, reach your fingers back, pull them forward, reach that arm back, pull it forward as you do this. Remember, you only have 60 seconds for this interval versus the full 90 seconds that we had for the first interval. You are doing both sides. Use this first set to start taking inventory in your body. See how you feel. Do you feel explosive today? Do your swings feel solid? Are you letting the bell control you, pull you forward, try to get your weight into your heels, and then push your feet down? Remember, it all starts from the bottom up. Same in the press that we're about to do. You gotta make your body feel like a plank in those 10 spots. Okay, let's go ahead, pick up your bell for your strict presses. 3 each side, 3 to 5 seconds down. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. You can clean it however you want. So it's up, 3, 2, 1. I push my feet down, push into the bell side foot a little bit more as you press. So I'm digging down into this side. That first set for me was about 20 seconds there. This class is gonna move kind of quick. So with these eccentrics, again, make sure that you're really aware what you're choosing to do today. How many reps work for you? Is this weight feeling too heavy? Is it something that you can sustain for 4 more sets of this? It's close to like 18 or so minutes of work in this section of class. It's a little bit less, so we're getting a lot of reps in a short amount of time, especially with our squats. Speaking of squats, those things are coming up. If you're like me and for some reason you have 2 different bells, you are going to switch your bell grip for this set. Here we go. Pick your squat of choice and let's hit it for those pause reps. 3, 2, and 1. You get 90 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. I would rather you try to attempt 3, 2, 1, all of the pause reps. 3, 2, 1, and then vary the regular reps. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. So if you only get, let's say 2 in this one and you're like, I'm cooked, my form's going to shit, that's when you would set your bells down instead of attempting the 5. Easy as that. So from here, since I set them down a little earlier than last time, you have just about 45 seconds from this point until we go into our single arm swings again. I do want to make a comment about your squats to take into your next round in case you're someone that likes to hold your breath at the bottom of the squat, especially when we pause. Squat breath can be a little complicated sometimes. I find that I personally like to breathe in as I go down. We should always be breathing out as we lift. So we should do that. Some people like to breathe in at the top and then hold it as they go down. I recommend for those pause squats, you're gonna take your breath in, and if you're here, you can take a few little like fast exhales out of your mouth as you go down in that. Okay guys, let's go ahead, start getting ready. I'm gonna give you an extra 5 seconds here, and then we're gonna hit those single arm swings. Let's go ahead and go for it. Clock is on here in 3, 2, and 1. Again, hips go back. I'll show you guys this one from the side. My shoulders and hips are always forward before I start. You can't be lazy knee in this here. Make sure you're starting to swing here. You have to think, set yourself up so that your whole body is facing one direction. Our enemy is rotating ourselves like this. So if you start to see things on the sides of your body in your peripheral vision, that is not a good sign when you're swinging on one side. We're going for anti-rotation. That's why some of you might feel this a lot in your core, because you're resisting letting this happen. So again, unless you're looking straight ahead, you're probably rotating in this one. That's a good way to tell without having to film yourself or have somebody watch you. So we should never be seeing things happening on either side of us. You have 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead, get those presses. So maybe you did it the first round and you're like, Lacey, I think I need more rest. You can pause the video, or you can just take 2. Try that out. Take a little bit off of the pressing. Also, take a little bit off of the swinging. This one is more of a grind class, but it also kind of diverges a little bit into cardiovascular territory with some of this French contrast style, which is doing a similar pattern to your heavier lift, which is your squat, immediately after you do it, or like a plyometric. So we're getting a little bit of rest, but I'm asking you to lift pretty heavy and then get really explosive, which is a great way to train your fast twitch muscle fibers and work on athleticism, moving quicker, becoming stronger, becoming just a better mover. We're gonna go ahead and hit those dreaded squats coming up again. Here we go, guys. This should be your tough set of the day. Let's go. 3, 2, and 1. I'm a narrower squatter, so I like to move my foot in before I start, get myself grounded, and then hit my squat. 3, 2, and 1. We are not getting down into this territory here. So notice the difference that I'm sitting here with, I'm still in a squat position, but I have absolutely no tension. This would be my prize squat position. If you're getting to the point down here where you don't have tension in your legs, you're not gonna be able to raise yourself up efficiently, and you're probably gonna go to your low back. So I only want you to sit to the point where you can control yourself and you can feel your quadriceps. So if you get down here and you have nothing left it's gonna be a lot harder and a lot less efficient for you to get yourself out of that position. You've gotta keep that tension. This is 30 seconds in, so those of you that are going for that full 10 reps, I want you to stick with me here because you probably have about 10 seconds more of work, 15 seconds more of work. I know this one gets harder as we go. There's a lot of core work in this class, so if you feel your abs, totally normal here. Try to keep your chest up and resist those bells. You're gonna be completing round 3 pretty soon. I told you this one is a fast set. This is about 45 seconds till we hit those swings. We're doing a lot of reps in a short amount of time. If you are huffing and puffing to the point where your movement quality is being affected by this point in the program, I want you to hit pause after this set of strict presses and let your heart rate come down enough so you feel fresh for your last 2 rounds. That could mean like a little 2 or 3 minute break for some of you. Good news when we have video classes like this, you can always hit that pause button to let yourself recover a little bit. Then you're gonna know the next time you do this video or the next time you do this program, the written version, what to expect a little bit more from it. Okay, here we go for your single arm swings. Clock is on 3, 2, and 1. So here's what I mean. Shoulders are forward, hips are forward. I'm not starting rotated. My opposite arm is across at my shoulder to keep those shoulders forward. When I swing, I'm thinking of making the up really fast, using momentum, using my opposite hand. The whole name of the game in ballistics and kettlebells is timing. You have to commit to moving fast. And that's why these are so great for athletic development. These movements, like the ballistic movements, like the swings and the cleans, but they're also challenging to learn because they're not the same speed. They're fast, relaxed, fast, relaxed. You have 15 seconds in your swings before we move on to our strict presses. As you press, I want those cheeks really tight. I want you to push your pinky finger into the kettlebell handle as you pull down and try to keep that elbow out from your body at about 90 degrees. Here we go, 3, 2, and 1. So as I press, my arm makes the shape of a letter J. My palm turns out as I go up. It's gonna slowly turn in to find the rack position as I come back down. So watch, it slowly turns out. I'm gonna squeeze my fingers, it slowly turns in. Elbow comes slightly out. I'm not here the whole time with my palm facing forward. If you've been pressing in Bells Up Studio classes all the time with your palms facing forward like you're holding a dumbbell, you might start to get some uncomfortable feelings in the front of your shoulder or your neck. We can't really treat kettlebells like dumbbells because they rest on our body. So the reason I love them for presses is we can kind of move a little more fluidly instead of being stuck here with the weights out on the side. But we can't really interchange them on a press. It feels kind of funky on the shoulder if you do that with all that weight on your arm. Okay, round 4 coming up. This is where you pause, not in your squat, in life, if you need a more recovery. Okay, here we go. Let's pick up your weights for your squats. Round 4, 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, 1, push. Sit it down. 3, 2, 1, push. Elbows can be up just a little bit. 3, 2, 1, push. You can also use your wedges. 3, 2, 1, push. 3, push. This is when we take maybe those fast reps. Can you shoot your hips forward without arching your back, kind of like you do a swing when you're coming up from your squats? Can you make these squats feel fast, even though you're tired from those pauses and from the rest of the reps that we've done today? I want you to really concentrate on trying to go to that place where you're moving the weight with speed in our sets today. 30 seconds to rest here before our single arm swing sets. Take the rep count that works for you up to 10. Whew, okay. Sometimes I get asked the appropriate grip for a single arm swing. It can either be palm down, can be palm in. When I start, I like to turn my palm in a little, and then it kind of sometimes can turn a bit, but if you're turning your shoulder, that's not good. Most important thing is we're able to maintain this position, feeling like we're in a strong plank. Let's go ahead, hit your swing sets. 3, 2, and 1. So here's where I kind of turn in my hand a little, feel my lat, and then my palm, you notice, faces down. You could do a hammer grip, with your palm facing in. Some people feel a little tighter grip, a little more connection to their lat when they're here. So it'd be like this versus this. Sort of like the same thing in pull-ups. Some people feel better with a neutral grip to pull themselves up versus here. Figure out what that feels good for you, and you can use either. Maybe you try one versus the other if you do one a lot and just see the difference. Okay, should be getting finished up with that fourth set of swings. We're gonna get ready for our fourth set of presses, and then we have one more round in this class today. You guys are doing such a great job here. I know this is a tough one. I'm breathing a little heavy and I'm not even doing all the reps with you today. So just know that if you're feeling like this is tough, this is what happens towards the end of a program. Here we go. Let's pick your bell up. 3, 2, and 1. 3, 2, 1. As the bell comes down, I'm actually trying to squeeze the life out of it. I'm actively, instead of just going up and then coming down slow, I'm thinking going up and pulling it down as slow as I can in that 3-second window. So really stretch that 3 seconds, get tight, make it feel like you are going to kind of pop a vein in your neck, but it's all in your arm. It's all in your lat. It's all in your abs. Maybe try to get tight and see if you can smile a little bit through that set. You have 15 seconds here in the strict press set. So finish out your final rep or 2. Set your bell down. We're gonna hit our last set. I'm gonna give you guys an extra, actually 30 seconds before we go into our final set of squats, just to give you a little bit of mental focus, because I don't want you to give up on the end here. I know it's easy to do that. You're like, okay, my last set. Sometimes for me, the last set is actually like, okay, game time. Can I make my last set feel like I made my first set feel? Is that even possible for me? This is where you can kind of coach yourself to be like, I got here, I can go a little bit further. That's all I'm asking. This might be your hardest set of the day, but we're gonna make it feel the best. Here we go, let's pick your bells up. 3, 2, and 1. Find your squat position. Hit 3, 2, 1, push. Sit it down, 3, 2, 1, push. Notice if you're gripping your toes. Maybe try to lift your toes in your squat. If you're constantly gripping the floor there, see how that feels. See if you can find weight distribution in your entire foot by kind of smashing it into the floor and seeing if you can get your weight in the front parts of your feet. When you finish, bells come down. The rep is not done until your weights are on the floor. You have 45 seconds from this moment right now to rest until we hit your final set of single arm swings. Go ahead, bring those weights off to the side and get ready to pop your swings up, guys. We are going to have, again, our best set of the day. Let's just rewind. Pretend like this is set 1 instead of set 5. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes mental games, or I said this before in classes, like starting rep counts over or doing ladder sets and pretending like you're starting over can sometimes be just what you need to get through those tough sets. Okay, talk about, gamifying your session here. Let's go ahead, get ready for those single arm swings. This is our final set. Tight lat pack, big hinge, weight back before we start. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Weight comes down to the floor when you finish your 10. Very good. We have just about 20 seconds from this point. Whew! I was hitting my ponytail on the leaf here. At first it scared me. I'm like, who snuck up behind me? But it was literally just the leaf. Okay. Made me think for a second, should I cut my hair? Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. I've been playing around with the idea of a little fall chop. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Let's finish out our set, guys. Presses to the end. 3, 2, and 1. This is the time to try to hit that full rep count of presses of 3. So 3, 2, 1. Big push. 3, 2, 1. Bell comes down. We take the time to set up the clean, because as we know from training at Bells Up Studio, the clean is an important step to setting the press up for success. If your clean's funky, your press is gonna be weird. Bell comes down. Once you finish your set, make sure you set the bell down with care. You have about 20 seconds. This is a session today that we might need to take a little time to let our central nervous system reset itself, to take a little break. Give yourself at least 5 minutes after your session to let yourself have some time for you, to concentrate on your breathing. We should all be done right about now, and to set the tone for the rest of your day. If you're doing any kind of targeted mobility work, this is a good time to do that for yourself. Hanging from a bar is really nice. You could take a few just side swipes of your knees. Maybe let's try that together. You can lay down on your back with me here, and we'll just take knees to one side, knees to the other side. Doesn't have to be too fancy here. Make sure you're pushing your head a bit into the floor. Maybe you get a little pop in your back. Hug your knees into your chest a little bit here, and maybe roll on your back side to side, and then bring your head down. Make little circles side to side, switching to your direction after 2 or 3. Very good. Sometimes just laying on the floor and staring at the ceiling can be the best finish to a tough session. Just regulate your breath, drink your water, mind your business. I'll see you guys in your next session in Bells Up Studio. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. Bye.